Tim likes to say that I like a little bit of fear in my life. What I would say to that is actually leaving that practice. I actually had more time on my hands to practice then in a different area because of the style and the way in which I was practicing, the hours I was doing, and a lot of emotional fatigue from trauma and just a very difficult, very high acuity, high volume practice. So I have a super understanding wife. I do a lot of, I guess I'm good at multitasking for the most part during that time, not so much anymore. But I tend to like a little bit of stress in my life, especially when it comes to the professional side. And so I'll stretch and pull things out a little bit and still manage to meet a lot of family obligations. I mean, I have more time now than I ever have in 44 years. I'm finally to a place in my life that I'm kind of at peace with the volume I work, how I work, compensation, and the whole thing. So, and Tim's smiling. So go ahead, Tim. I know you got something to say about that.
No. I mean, I think Tom's right. I mean, the one thing that I say frequently is most people run away from fear. Tom runs towards it. And I think that's a really strong attribute, and really also deeply rooted in our DNA. That's how we learn, is, run towards things that you tend to run, or most people tend to run away from.
Right.
I like that a lot. I mean, running towards fear. If we're not stressed a little bit, we're really not growing, are we? We're not learning.
That's exactly right. You're just being complacent, right? I mean, it's more about a mind shift, and you can go to a lot of people doing this. I'm sure there's that Robert Kiyosaki, rich dad, poor dad mentality. I think it was just something that I realized that I wasn't the typical sheep, and I wanted to do things different. And once I proved that concept to me, or to myself, and Tim can say this too, is it took a while. It opened up this world of seeing how the legitimate world that you believe around you isn't necessarily the case. I mean, it is what you make it. And listening to all the fodder is never a good thing. And when you decide to, as long as the numbers look good and you have a reasonable expectation, I think it's okay. If you're expecting to go be a billionaire and you're going to go do this, you can get dangerous, right? I mean, you have to live and die by your underwriting, and you have to look globally. You can't microanalyze something, but at the same time, you've got to have a little bit of trust in yourself.